Private War is directed by Matthew Heineman and it stars Rosamund Pike and Jamie Dornan, and we follow real-life war correspondent Marie Colvin, who with an utter fearlessness and a rebellious spirit was driven to the front line of conflicts across the globe to give voice to the voiceless. Now, I had never heard of this lady, so this story from the very beginning fascinated me. Someone who looks forward to going into the war zones and talk about what people are going through there. The subject matter here is fascinating because we see a new perspective on kind of how war affects us. Early on, she loses an eye. That's why you see her wearing an eye patch on basically every picture that I'll put over here. And that basically guides her to even go more forward, trying harder to get into those conflicts, those war zones, and speaking louder and speaking more prominently about these people. And we see how war affects her. Most of the film we spend with her on the battlefield, and we have brief scenes, brief flashes in each chapter basically of this film, because we see very specific wars and very specific war battlefields that she went to. But we do have flashes and little scenes of her in London, for instance. We see her receiving awards and talking about why she does this and why she thinks it's so important, and it is. But the thing is, in these little scenes where she's back home and it's supposed to be normal, we do see how it affects her, how traumatized she is more and more. It's basically like she has PTSD, just like any soldier in a war zone. And Rosamund Pike really does a fantastic job. They play a little bit of clips from the real war correspondent, the real Marie Colvin at the end, and you do see that Pike went for an impression of her voice, but she really comes across natural in that sense. You didn't feel like she was impersonating anyone. Maybe because I didn't know how the lady sounded like, but she was tremendous in the film. She bolsters this film tremendously. She takes this film to all new heights. And Jamie Dornan as well is great. It's kind of poetic that in the year that the 50 Shades franchise is over, both Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson are giving great performances in a film at the film festival. The relationship between them is genuinely really sweet. It's not hokey, it's not dopey, it's not cheesy. They're just very good together. I adore what they did with these two. I don't know if it's realistic or not, but it didn't come across as something that took your attention out of the rest of the film. It was very simplistic, but it was so well done, so organic. This isn't one of those movies that you can pinpoint an issue and say, this is a problem with this film and I'm going to talk about it. No, it's a film that it's really well done in all its artistic, creative, and technical endeavors. It accomplishes them all really well. The biggest problem I have with it is just, I have seen it before. Despite the subject matter being very well done, I've seen people in war zones in films. I've seen movies talking about people who are traumatized from war in films, and despite this single lady being very interested, I'm very interested in seeing what she wrote, what she talked about in her interviews. But for this film specifically, there's nothing really that stands out beyond being really well executed, unfortunately. A Private War has really good performances. It has a really interesting subject matter. I think it's definitely worth the watch. I'm not going to say you haven't seen it before, because you have in some shape or form, but I'm going to give A Private War a B. Now let me know what you thought of A Private War, my beautiful geekies. Let me know what is your favorite Rosamund Pike performance. I bet I know what most of the answers will be. And let me know if you ever heard about Marie Colvin. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. Many other reviews to come. Tomorrow is the last day of LFF, so I hope to see you there. Until then, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button, click the bell so you can be geeky. United!